During a press conference yesterday, National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan became emotional when announcing this deal.
I spent a lot of time with the families of Evan and Paul and Alsu. And most of the time, as you can imagine, those are tough conversations. But not today. Today, excuse me. Today was a very good day. And we're going to build on it, drawing inspiration.
U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan joins us now. Jake, as you know, when you're at the podium or you're in a room, you are the face and voice of America. Share with us how you were processing that moment yesterday and how America should process this deal.
Well, first of all, Major, this was a human victory. It was 3 innocent people coming home to their families, reunited with their loved ones, and that's a magical thing. But second, it was a victory for our country because this was the United States of America at its best, working with allies to free our citizens who were unjustly detained abroad, and also working to free freedom fighters from Russia, people who have dedicated their lives to democracy and human rights, and doing it because we stand for that principle. We are that shining city on a hill. And so yesterday was an extremely special day, and I do believe it's something that we should build on, and we should do so united as a country, believing in our people and also believing in our values.
Jake, help the American people work through this. As you just mentioned, the Americans freed journalists, innocents. The Russians freed one, a convicted murderer, several spies, other hackers. How do you balance that? Innocent journalists for criminals.
Well, first of all, Major, I think it says a lot about the different priorities of the United States and our allies on the one hand and Russia on the other hand. What do we value? What do they value? But secondly, these are hard decisions, as the president has said. You have to think hard about who you release in a prisoner exchange. That's been true for decades. But at the end of the day, the president looked at this deal and he said, what we are getting, the value of human life, the value of putting families back together, the value of standing up for freedom of the press far exceeds what we are giving up by sending a few more criminals back to Russia. So you make that judgment, you make that determination, and then the president makes the tough call, and he's proud of the call he made here.
Part of that tough call was Marc Fogel, an American held in Russia, not included. How close was Marc Fogel to being released within the context of this deal? And what can you tell his devastated family?
Well, first, I can tell them that we are working like hell to get Marc Fogel out. I am personally working on it. It doesn't always work out that we get every American in every deal. Paul Whelan knows that all too well because there have been previous deals he wasn't in. He was in this one. And we're going to get Marc Fogel out. I can't get into the specific details because they're sensitive, but Marc Fogel has been part of the conversation. He is on our agenda. He is a priority for me personally, and we're going to keep working till he's home.
Talk to us, Jake, about the intricacy of this arrangement. It wasn't just a one-nation to one-nation conversation. We have seen those in the past. I can't imagine, I hope you can give us some understanding of how difficult it is to bring in so many countries with so many different moving parts.
Well, you're absolutely right. In the end, we exchanged 8 Russians for 16 innocent individuals coming out of Russia. Those 8 Russians, 3 of them came from the United States, 1 from Germany, 2 from Slovenia, 1 from Poland, 1 from Norway. That is several countries all having to make their own hard decisions, all having to decide that they were going to back their ally, the United States, to work through this deal and get the result. And then you have the direct negotiations with the Russians to actually get to yes, and then the execution of this. You're flying people in onto a single tarmac in Turkey from all of these different places to land at the same time so it can be verified and the exchange can occur. Nothing of this complexity, Major, has happened really in modern memory. And it was an absolute feat, not just of diplomacy and statecraft, but of just good old-fashioned execution.
Jake, it's been said that Alexi Navalny's death dampened enthusiasm for something in this space. Did it? And how much of a heartbreak was that at the moment for not only Alexi Navali and those who care about him, but those who were part of what was then looking like a potential deal?
Well, you know, I met with Evan's parents the very day that Navalny died. And they sat in my office and they looked at me and they said, does this mean that Evan's not going to be able to come home? And I told them that I saw a path to get Evan home. I saw a way forward with this deal, but there's no doubt that set us back. We then had to huddle up, figure out a different way forward. We did so, and ultimately that resulted in what you saw yesterday.
National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan, thank you.
Thank you.